Hey guys, Ovilee May with Yahoo Esports, and I am joined by RMU's Coach Drake and AD carry Buckzach. Did I say that correctly? Buckzach?
Yeah.
All right, cool. There's a lot of capitalized letters in there. Wanted to make sure. You guys just lost to Maryville, but I mean, here you are. You guys just played in the LCS studios where the pro players are playing. How does it feel coming out to LA for this?
Honestly, it feels really good. You know, we've already lost to Maryville and we've taken games off of them, and overall before we came here, scrims are looking really good. But ultimately, I just wanted the players to have the experience of like coming out here and competing live on stage, and whether we win or we lose, just experiencing the emotions of playing in a live environment as opposed to online. And I think everybody learned a lot from the experience, and overall, I think that just playing on LCS Studio kind of fulfills a lot of players' dreams as it is.
How about you? You were actually playing.
I thought it was a fantastic tournament. I mean, being the chance to come out here. A couple of players and people say, oh, there's no incentive to actually do this kind of thing because there's no prize pool, but this is kind of experience that you'll never get another chance at if you don't like jump on it. And for my first time being here, it was just amazing, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Like even though there's no prize pool, it's an amazing tournament to be here.
So your story's kind of interesting because you came in, what, the last week?
I came in here like the last quarter of the year, the season, because Shady got picked up for Phoenix 1, and Evan actually moved to support because I don't want to act selfish here or anything, but I was seen as like the best player on Team 2, so they wanted to move me up and teach me like the macro game and even out the team and just make sure that we're not too far off with Shady leaving.
I mean, you had some great plays on Caitlyn in some of those games, especially in I think game 3, you guys were popping off a little bit. How has your joining of the main team been going?
It was definitely a learning curve and a learning experience. I would say I was really a mechanical player at first, and I didn't really have that much knowledge behind macro play and like the competitive team aspect, but Drake and the rest of the team did a really good job teaching me that and making sure I had the tools to come into this tournament and really peak my skill level and just pop off, basically.
And Drake, I want to ask you, what's coaching in the collegiate scene like?
Well, I think the major benefit of collegiate is we start our season around like October-ish, and so we have a really long time to like build on a lot of concepts and macro and stuff like that. A lot of LCS teams, they basically have like really like 6 realistic weeks where their performance really matters, and they don't have much time to really build a lot of their skill. And so picking out players who already know a lot about macro and things like that's really important so that you can start off in a good spot. But with collegiate, we get a lot of time to build those things. Of course, with collegiate as well, you have a lot of players going to LCS. You have like grade issues and a lot of problems like that you have to take into consideration. But ultimately, I think that a really big plus of collegiate is we have a lot of time to improve, and because there's so much time to improve and we can really like work on really big macro concepts, we also have some time to work on helping players grow as people too, which I think is a really big benefit and really the whole like major objective of college in general.
Now, as you mentioned, LCS players don't have to worry about grades on their report cards. Has there been any like specific struggle between your players and maybe maintaining their appearance in college as well as within the playing scene?
Oh, for sure. I mean, towards the beginning of the season, probably like around January, February, I'd say we were almost like unquestionably the best collegiate team in general, and that was also a point where we were practicing probably like 7 to 8 hours every single day. And so on top of that, people had school stuff and grades started to slip up, so we pulled back our practice a little bit, and that's whenever we started to kind of fall down a bit. And then on top of that, Shady ended up leaving, and so you kind of have to find this really fine balance, and it can be a little bit difficult. You kind of have to decide based on the type of players you have, how much time they need to spend on academics and stuff, but it's definitely been an issue for us.
And I have to ask, I believe it was at the beginning of your game 2, there was something weird with the draft. Could you tell us a little bit about what went on there?
Well, it came down to like a last second pick between I think like Maokai and Malzahar, and we are like in the literal last second of where Zach could have like clicked on Maokai and hit enter, and then like he clicked on Maokai, hit enter. There's still 1 second showing, but it didn't lock in the champion. It just like auto locked Hecarim.
Okay, we thought that you were gonna, bring out the support hecker and maybe surprise us with something, but it seemed like you guys got that sorted out.
Yeah, we were panicking a little bit. I just figured worst case scenario, we have to play Hecarim. Best case scenario, we can take this time in kind of like the chaos of all this happening to focus on how we're going to win the game in either situation. So while I think a lot of teams would have just like panicked there and talked about how crappy of a situation it could be if we had to play Hecarim, we kind of like focused in on what we could have done to win ideally, and we weren't able to win, but it's something that I think we've worked with the team in general. I talked to Zach a lot about it actually, about like in chaotic moments using that as an advantage to like focus up while other people are distracted.
Wonderful. Well, I have to ask, what is next for you guys? I mean, season's over, but next year, are you going to be participating?
Definitely. I really want to come back here, and I don't want to stop until I win. That's basically what I want to do. I have a couple of years of college ahead of me, so why not spend it trying to win first place?
I love it. What about you, Coach?
I foresee that I'll probably be in collegiate for another year or two. I mean, ultimately, I really do want to work in LCS, and I've had kind of like leads there, but nothing's ever really came into fruition, I guess. Next year, I'm going to be at a different school that is already like finalized and all that. I can't say who, but I'm almost certain I'll be here next year.
I love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for this interview. I really enjoyed speaking with both of you. Do you have anything that you'd like to say to your parents, family, school that's watching?
You know, I just want to really just thank the players, because I said this earlier, but we didn't win, but I wouldn't call it failure. Because at the end of the day, if people actually saw inside of the team environment, they would know how much our players grew as people. It's like Zach improved drastically as a player. His communication's much, much better. He is a lot better at like stepping up and kind of being almost authoritative in a way, which is something he struggled with before. And then on top of that, West has grown tremendously as a person. Mordio has grown tremendously as a person. I mean, Gillette is a totally different person, and a lot of this just comes from us having to compete in like very high stress scenarios. So I really wouldn't say that we weren't successful. I think that we were successful in what really matters at the end of the day. We just sadly weren't able to pull out the win. So I really want to thank my players just for giving so much effort and working so hard throughout the year, no matter what we ended up encountering. And even through the set, just staying positive and staying driven the whole time.
Do you have anyone that you'd like to thank?
Of course, I have to thank my family for supporting me. I mean, I can't be out here without them. And more than ever, I want to thank my team as well as Coach Drake, because without the effort put in by each and every player, together, we can't make it here without that. So we really drove each other to get here, and it's amazing.
Well, guys, thank you so much for this interview. I love talking with you both, and I wish you guys luck on wherever your collegiate career takes you. And for everyone else, you can check out more of our coverage at Yahoo Esports.